Brought to you by Penguin.
Ask Me How It Works. Love in an Open Marriage. Written and read by me, Deepa Paul. Chapter 1. What's it like? The alarm woke me from a short, shallow slumber. The first stealthy sliver of pale morning light crept in through the blinds, falling on Robert asleep beside me, the sound of his teeth grinding in my ear. Had he popped his mouthguard in before we passed out? I couldn't remember. Everything was a blur so early in the morning, after so long a night. Reluctant to leave the heat of our bodies under the duvet, I reached out and grasped for my phone, finding it on the nightstand between my spare asthma inhaler and a pump jar of lube. Battery almost depleted, it blinked the time, 5 a.m. For a moment, I was tempted to hit snooze, but I knew better. It was too easy to surrender to the lure of 5 more minutes and wake 5 hours later in the harsh, unforgiving glare of morning. And that wouldn't do. If I hurry, I can beat reality before it wakes up for breakfast, I thought. Summoning my willpower, I eased myself from Robert's arms and slid out of bed. I fished my discarded bra and panties off the leather easy chair, peeled my tights off the nubbly red poof, and scooped up my dress, a puddle of black on the living room rug. In the dim light, I slipped on last night's clothing like a ninja, practiced, silent, quick. I could do this with my eyes closed. From the debris of our Friday night, Robert's empty beer cans, the ends of our stubbed-out joints, which he always rolled so deftly, and my single glass of whiskey, which he always poured for me Irish style with a drop of water, I plucked a few things to tuck into my bag. The half-empty bottle of Nika from the barrel, a lacy white thong with fake pearls strung along an open slit, a purple double-ended dildo. "You said you would never," Robert had said last night, after we collapsed against each other in bed, panting and exhausted. "Do you remember you told me that on our second date?" "I did? That feels like ages ago." "We were in the basement at Radion," he reminded me. "You asked me what my deepest, darkest fantasy was. When I told you, you said, 'Sorry, but that's never going to be me.'" "Oh, right. I remember. I didn't see the point in pretending to have a dick." He had laughed. "You sure didn't look like you were pretending." Yeah, well, this thing turned out to be plenty of fun for everyone. Feeling under the covers for our new purple friend, I found its smooth silicone heft and pulled it out for both of us to contemplate. I didn't expect that. Now, dressed and packed, all possessions accounted for, I tiptoed into the bedroom and perched on the edge of the bed. "I'm going," I whispered with a gentle nudge, though Robert hardly even registered my departure. "Come back soon," he murmured, more asleep than awake, eyes still closed. "I will." My lips grazed the dark stubble on his cheek before I slipped out the door into a chilly Amsterdam dawn. I had chosen to slither home at the right time. Sunrise painted the clouds with a luminous jumble of pink and orange, a hint of brightness gleaming through the gray. Whizzing past the old windmill, down the length of the Wester Park, I coasted home on my last legs as the rush of exhilaration faded. The smoky tendrils of pleasure dissipated into the damp morning air, and the final bright hot glimmers of intensity cooled to the dull red pulsing embers of fatigue. Cycling home through my adopted city at daybreak was a balm and a pleasure, the hush of its streets and the mirror stillness of its canals a release. On mornings like this, after nights like the one I'd just had, the wind on my face felt like pure freedom. There had been many nights and many lovers. On any other night, my ride home might have been the last train back to Amsterdam, stuffed with drunken carnival revelers in ludicrous costumes from Charlie's apartment in Nijmegen.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?